Unified light heavyweight champion Sergey Kovalev will defend his titles on July 11th against Issac Chilemba. Now we know that there is a fight between Kovalev and Andre Ward penciled in for later on in the year or possibly early next year. So for now, he's going to be stuck facing Issac Chilemba in the meantime. It has to be said, other than Bernard Hopkins, Sergey Kovalev has not faced any elite level light heavyweights since he's been champion. Is that all his own fault? Personally, I would say no. But that's just my opinion from the outside looking in. Maybe he's more to blame than I'm aware of. But from the outside looking in, the reason why he hasn't got those elite level fights that I would have liked to have seen him get, people like Adonis Stevenson, Artur Beterbiev, even somebody a little lower down like an Andre Fonfara, the reason he hasn't got those fights, one, because he's on HBO, he's seemingly tied to that HBO contract, and for two, he's with Kathy Duva, and Kathy Duva is a small promoter. She doesn't have as many light heavyweights as somebody like Al Heyman has, for example. So because of television disputes, television network disputes, and promotional disputes, he's stuck recycling opponents like we saw with Jean Pascal. And Pascal was past his best by the time he fought Kovalev both times, but particularly the second time. Okay, again, personally, I don't think that's really down to Kovalev, but I don't know, maybe it is down to him. I see him from the outside looking in as a very confident guy, a guy who truly believes that he's the best light heavyweight in the world and would fight anybody. But whether that's reality, whether that's just my belief, who knows? So he's going to fight Issac Chilemba. Chilemba's best performance to date was probably his first fight against Tony Bellew. And Bellew obviously was somebody that Stevenson took out with relative ease. Chilemba went the distance with Bellew twice. Lost the second fight. First fight, a lot of people felt that he won. Now, Issac Chilemba's last fight was against Elidier Alvarez. And that's a fight he actually lost. So Chilemba is getting this a title shot off the back of a loss. So you have to ask yourself, how come Elidier Alvarez ain't getting a title shot? How come Gonzalez, the guy a lot of people felt beat Jean Pascal, how come he ain't getting a title shot? How come the guy who actually beat Gonzalez, I can't remember the guy's name, is an Eastern European guy, he beat Gonzalez. How come he ain't getting the title shot? Again, this is where my critique of Kathy Duva comes in. I don't think she's got the clout. I don't think she's got the connections to get Kovalev the kind of opponents he should be getting, in my opinion. Maybe she's protecting him on some level. I don't know. Or maybe it's just, as I say, she can't do business with certain people. We know that she can't do business with Al Heyman and Adonis Stevenson because she pulled out of a purse bid in 2015. A purse bid which she urged the WBC to call. And then when they did call it, obviously she was hoping Adonis Stevenson would vacate. When he didn't vacate, she was like, oh God, that's not how this was supposed to go. I guess we're going to pull out the purse bid. Again, I'm putting that on Kathy Duva. Maybe I shouldn't be putting it on her. Maybe it's actually Kovalev to blame. I don't know. You tell me. Yeah, I mean, it's just your opinion as well as mine, but it's all just conjecture up in the air. As far as this fight with Chilemba, just to go back to it, again, Chilemba hasn't really fought any elite level competition. The best guy he's fought was Elidier Alvarez, which he lost. Again, the Alvarez fight I haven't seen. I need to go watch that to see if that was a controversial decision or what the hell happened there. But other than the Alvarez fight, the only other notable name really on Chilemba's resume is Tony Bellew. And those fights were what they were. Tony Bellew was not a particularly good fighter. So, yeah, he also fought Thomas Oofhuizen, to be fair, the South African guy. And I believe that was a split decision draw. So, you know, he's fought okay opposition, but nothing special. He's certainly not elite level. He certainly hasn't performed and won on an elite level at all. I think personally this is a lose-lose situation. Maybe not a lose-lose, but maybe it could be a lose-lose for Kovalev. If he stops Chilemba, which is what most people expect, then people are going to say, oh, well, he was supposed to stop Chilemba. Chilemba's not that good. Just because Chilemba's never been stopped before, that don't mean that Kovalev stopping him is impressive. For example, Errol Spence just stopped Chris Algieri. And Chris Algieri has fought elite opposition. He did go in there with Manny Pacquiao. He did go in there with Amir Khan, and he didn't get stopped. But Errol Spence stopped him. So Kovalev stopping Chilemba would be far less impressive. If you're being objective, it will be far less impressive than Errol Spence stopping Chris Algieri, because we know Chris Algieri's been in there with elite level guys, big punchers, a very fast guy in Amir Khan, experienced guys. Chilemba hasn't been in there with that type of opposition. So Kovalev stopping him, people are going to say, yeah, he was supposed to stop him, really. He was supposed to be the first guy to stop him. If he don't stop him, people are going to say, oh, okay, wow. Is Kovalev really that good? The only fighter in this situation who can really benefit from this fight in terms of their reputation is Issac Chilemba. Because if he does go the distance, if he gives Kovalev trouble, then his stock is going to rise, even if he don't win the fight, which pretty much nobody, I certainly don't, nobody expects him to win. But if he gives a good account of himself, goes the distance, people are going to say, okay, maybe there is hope for someone like Andre Ward. Maybe there is hope for fighters out there if they box the right kind of fight, if they give Kovalev the right kind of looks and the right kind of angles. Maybe they can actually go the distance, and being more offensively talented than someone like Chilemba, maybe they can actually get the job done and win the fight. So, yeah, I don't really see how Kovalev is going to gain from this in terms of his reputation. Maybe it's just a marking time fight, a stay busy fight until he fights Andre Ward. That's probably what it is. But still, to me, it's kind of indicative of the level of opposition that Kovalev has been fighting since he's been champion, which hasn't been great other than the Bernard Hopkins win. And that was a good win. Don't get it twisted. I know Hopkins is an old man, and definitely not in his prime, but he was still at an elite level like heavyweight. He still schooled Jean Pascal. Let's not get that twisted. He still beat Beirut Shumanov, who, yeah, okay, wasn't a great fighter, but still, you know, much younger than him and an upcoming champion and what have you. So Hopkins was still elite level in not particularly strong division at the time. And Kovalev dealt with him in very impressive fashion. He's the only guy to really deal with Hopkins in that particular way. You know, yeah, Hopkins is old and whatnot, and not as naturally big as Kovalev, whatever. But still, that was a good victory. But other than that, the guys he's been fighting, Mohamedi, Blake Caparello, and over the hill Jean Pascal twice. I mean, these are not really inspirational type of position here, you know, the type of opponents. It's quite poor stuff. And we get the same here with Issac Chilemba. So I would personally really love to see Kovalev sign, if it was feasible. It's probably not feasible, but I'd like to see him sign with an Uncle Al. Maybe he don't trust Uncle Al. Maybe he trusts Kathy Duva. That's what he knows. Kathy Duva gave him an opportunity when apparently many other promoters wouldn't sign Kovalev, bizarrely. They wouldn't sign him at the time when he first went to the United States and was trying to make his way in the boxing game, in the professional boxing game. A lot of promoters apparently turned him down. Kathy Duva gave him the opportunity, so maybe he feels that loyalty there. But as I say, and as I've said in many different videos about different fighters, boxers have a finite window where they can be successful, most of them. And Kovalev is already, what is he, 32, 33 or something like that now? he's not going to have that long, realistically, in the boxing game. So, I don't know. Maybe he don't trust Uncle Al and all them people there. But if he went over to that side, he get exposure on PBC. A fight like this against Chilemba would be on PBC if he was with Uncle Al. Much more people would get to see him. And don't even get it confused. Uncle Al would definitely match him up against Stevenson. I mean, Stevenson don't have much time left himself. He's nearly 40 years old. You think Al Heyman's going to try and protect Stevenson if he has Kovalev as well? Hell no. He's going to put Kovalev in there with Stevenson. He's going to put the winner of that against Beterbiev. He's going to put any one of them against Andre Fonfara. Definitely going to happen. As I say, look at Al Heyman. He's matching his fighters up against each other. We got Sean Porter against Keith Thurman coming up. We've already had Adrian Broner against Sean Porter. We've had Adrian Broner against Marcus McDonough. We've had Khan fighting Algieri. We're possibly going to have Danny Garcia facing Floyd Mayweather. So Uncle Al is matching his fighters up against each other. And I'm sure that's exactly what he would do if he had Sergey Kovalev on his books as well. He'd be putting Kovalev in there with his other light heavyweights, particularly Stevenson and Fonfara. The Fonfara fight is a natural type of match. And a Stevenson match, I mean, Stevenson's viewing figures are apparently going down. So Uncle Al's looking at Stevenson like, what am I doing with you now? You know, I need to put you in a big fight. And the Kovalev fight will be right there. And again, for Kovalev, apparently the money that fighters make with Al Heyman is far beyond anything they make with other promoters. It'll probably be the same with Kovalev. You look at James DeGale and Lee Selby, for example, who are promoted by Eddie Hearn. Both of them have signed advisory agreements because Al Heyman is officially an advisor. They've signed these agreements with Al Heyman, and even Eddie Hearn has admitted that they're now making more since they've signed with Al Heyman than they were when they were just with Eddie Hearn without the Al Heyman advisory deal. Even Bob Arum, one of Al Heyman's rivals and biggest critics, has come out and said, and this is an extraordinary thing to say, Bob Arum has come out and said that Al Heyman pays fighters ridiculous amounts of money. He pays them too much. I think that's what Bob Arum said. Who the hell Bob Arum is to turn around and say something like that, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's the fighter who's risking his life. So if Heyman is finding a way to pay these fighters ridiculous amounts of money, good for him and good for the fighters. You know, so anyway, those are just my thoughts. Like I say, one of the people that Kathy Duver apparently can work with is Rock Nation. And it's looking like we're going to get the Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev fight, hopefully later on this year or early next year. But other than Ward, he's not a free agent, obviously, he's signed to Rock Nation, but Rock Nation have got so few fighters, you might as well classify him as a free agent. So anyway, let me stop rambling here, people. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about the Sergey Kovalev, Issac Chilemba fight and everything I talked about in this video. Do you think Sergey Kovalev is going to be the first guy to stop him? Or do you think Issac Chilemba can actually last the distance? Let me know. All right. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.